We are joined by a very, 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 very important guest, Jill Miller, who's a librarian at the Cardinal Elementary School. And hello, can we say thank you for being a librarian? Thank you for building a love of books. Thank you for educating our future leaders. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jill.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited. So there's a lot of things to talk about. Some of them are current news, and I'm just going to start with current news. Current news is that Republican leaders are about to push yet another book ban at the federal level, and it's ridiculous. And I wondered if you can bust some myths. Are book bans needed because just any book from anywhere at any time can just appear in a library? Or is there a process to get books into libraries at schools?
Yeah, so I'm a military wife. So I've been in lots of different states, lots of different school districts. In every school district I've gone through, we have a policy that we have to follow. We can't just order anything we want. In Arlington, we have to make sure that the books that we buy have peer reviews. So it's not like we're just willy-nilly putting books in our shopping cart and don't look at them.
Yeah, and there's parent engagement, there's community
Yeah.
engagement, there's teacher engagement. There is engagement. And one of the things that really makes me annoyed about this is the far right is kind of trying to frame this as parent choice. Well, no, they're taking away parent choice. If you start banning books at the federal level, you're taking away what local parents, local teachers, local community leaders actually want and importantly need for the education of the children in that area. And that takes away choice. So I am so annoyed. Are you annoyed about book bans? What do you think about them?
I am very annoyed, and I always tell people that you need to have those discussions with your children. You cannot tell 730 children in a school that they can't read something.
Yeah.
And that discussion needs to be at home, and you cannot do that for every kid. So
Yeah.
I am also very annoyed with that. I
And
mean,
there's
we went
already
to
standards
school.
in place.
Yeah,
Like there
like we
are
went to
standards in
school.
place. Yeah.
And we're trying to build a diverse library that fits the curriculum needs of grade levels K through fifth in the elementary, or a middle school, or a secondary school at the high school level. So it's important work we do.
It's so important. Also, reading books is so important. It's so important for critical thinking, really important for empathy. And this is one of the things that I think a lot of people don't realize. There was even one study that found that reading a Harry Potter book increased your empathy almost exponentially just from reading a Harry Potter book. Like you don't have to read a book about empathy, you just have to read a story. And then you increase the child's empathy, the adult's empathy, the community's empathy. And right now, as I'm looking at the headlines, it would appear that a little bit more empathy could be helpful to maintaining the balance of the planet. And, so that means reading is so important on so many levels that people don't even realize. And the first week of March is Read Across America Week, and March is Literacy Month. What is the most or some of the most important things that children get from reading? Like, why is literacy important? I can't believe we have to ask this, but let's talk about it.
Yeah. So for me, I grew up in Northeast Iowa. Everyone looked like me. Everyone looked like me. So if we didn't have access to some of these cool stories about the world, not even the world, even places in the United States that we've never been or seen, or people we've met, they're never going to get exposed to those things. And I think then you're living in your bubble.
Yep.
And so libraries help with that. I mean, they help with just the research skills, the critical thinking skills. They're helping with understanding the difference between fake news and what you're seeing in a random website. So we do lots of things in the library that increase all of those kinds of literacy skills.
And I just think that's so important. All of the literacy skills, all of the social emotional development skills. You said something I think that is so important for us to think about right now. Each of us are walking around in our own bubble. And it's so important to have empathy, to be able to have empathy, to be able to walk in somebody else's shoes, right?
Yeah,
There's no
perspective.
better way to walk in somebody else's shoes than to read a story. It can be a nonfiction story. It could be a fiction story. It could be any kind of story. It could be like a board book, but just having that ability to perspective take is so important.
Understanding different perspectives is a big one, especially if you haven't been outside your small little bubble. You know, I was a librarian in Montgomery, Alabama, and the kids would constantly touch my hair because they hadn't been around a lot of white people before. It was, eye-opening.
So walking in other people's shoes is so
Yeah.
important. And also learning about communities across the country, across the planet is so important. One of the things that I want to ask about is if you could share about the spectacular read-in. I love the idea of a read-in that you did with NEA's Read Across America in your library. What happened? Were there a lot of kids there? What books did you read? Was there dancing? What was going on?
I think all of the above. So we had Miss Becky Pringle, she's the president of NEA, and Princess Moss is the vice president, and then Mr. Candelera is the treasurer. He was here to do read alouds to the kids. And it was a first grade class and a kindergarten class. And we chose it to be a little smaller. So afterwards they could do cool, fun activities. But all
Ooh.
first graders and all kindergartners in the entire building got books.
Oh, I
As
love
we,
it.
yeah. And then each teacher in the building got a bag of books that matched the grade level that they taught.
Oh,
So super cool. So we read Miss Taco. It's about a girl that was constantly making mistakes. And through the book, she learns that it's okay to make mistakes by making tortillas,
I
homemade
love
tortillas.
this.
And then we read I Am Definitely Human. It's about aliens that come to the planet and they try to tell everyone that they're actually really human. So it's a story about kindness and being helpful in the end.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love that. Books are so fun,
they
and
are.
books that are funny are also fun. And one of the things that we know is that humor helps bridge barriers. And so funny books have that added extra
Yep.
power of barrier bridging. When you are talking to parents, and now, we potentially have a lot of parents listening right now, what is your advice about reading to kids? What kind of books should they read to kids? What's fun to do? What's your advice?
I think building a routine, a consistent routine. And then I also love it when kids go to the library, whether it's a public library or a school library, and they're selecting their own books. They take
Ooh,
ownership of that, and I think that helps build the routine. And then I also think it's important that kids see their parents read, like a chapter
mm.
book, so that they're not just on their phone looking at something; they're actually reading a book. And I think that also builds. If they're doing it, maybe I should do it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And your point also about screens. Now, feeling a book, that tangible moment when you can like turn the page, it makes that crinkle noise. It's full surround sound engagement. When you're reading on a screen, there's no crinkle noise, you're not feeling it. And obviously, you can see the words, but sometimes they're actually much smaller and you don't get the colors as much from the pictures. I love a good picture book. Can you tell?
Yeah.
And so, so like actually reading the book and turning the page with your kid is important. One of my favorite things is like Goodnight Moon, where you can find the mouse in each page. I love a little book like that too, where it can be interactive both with the words and the images. What do you think about those kinds?
I love that. You need to read Goodnight iPad.
Really?
Yeah, so that's where the tech has to go away because the grandma can't handle all the noise and what's happening.
I love that. Yeah, books can be a nice sort of place of solace from all the noise, too. That's a good point that you just made.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for educators about reading with students, especially when you're competing with the very, very, very noisy iPads?
Yeah, I think we can't take the joy out of reading, right? Everything is so, you must read this book for English, you must do this. So when students come to the library, I need them to have choice of what they're picking. And I often get teachers coming into the library and saying, no graphic novels. I don't want them to check out graphic novels, but I'm like, graphic novels is like a gateway drug for books.
Yeah.
You get students, then they'll start reading more and more, and we'll eventually get them to a chapter book. But I think choice is so, so important
Yeah.
to
I
bring
mean,
up the joy of reading, and then they want to pick up the book.
yep. Yep. That's so true. And graphic novels are fantastic.
I love them. Yeah.
They're so good right now. I mean, they're high quality literature. I think
My
a long time ago for many parents that they weren't high quality literature that they are in the last like 10 years or so. It's
my
really
daughter's
been,
dyslexic, and so she's in 6th grade now, and she wants to read some of the books that her friends are reading, but now they have the graphic novel version.
ooh.
So she's feeling like she's, can fit in, and she's,
Mhm.
reading them at a rate of, it's crazy. I love it.
I love it too. So let's talk favorite books. As you can tell, I love all books. I just have like a whole lifelong love affair with books. What are your favorite books? And it can
Okay.
be for kids or for adults or for youth or anything.
So I have a favorite, always have favorites of the moment. I don't know,
Oh,
because I look back, I don't know if I could just pick one thing that
yes.
I have favorites of. So I have two that I absolutely just finished and love. This is The Incredibly Human Henson Blaze by Derek
Ooh.
Barnes. It's excellent. It was a Coretta Scott King honor book. Um,
Uh-huh.
and this one is The Trouble with Heroes by Kate Messner. Both are
Wow.
great for the like 6th, 7th, 5th, 6th, 7th range. But both have great messages that the main characters are overcoming, and it kind of fits with what's happening in the world as well.
That's fantastic. I wrote them down also as you were talking because one of the things I've noticed recently is that books that are often aimed at kind of those early middle readers are so spectacularly written because they have to hold the attention of
Yes.
a small person who wants to wiggle all over the place, and they don't use the crutch of like extreme violence or other things that sometimes adult authors use to hold your attention. So those authors have to really pull out all of the acrobatics of attention gathering to keep those kids' attention focused. And so then I'm like, hey, this is actually really good writing.
Yeah, I enjoyed both of them.
Yeah, I'm going to read them too. We only have about 50 seconds left. What's your advice to people in this culture where we are just inundated by short tweets, short Instagram videos, short everything about books? Do we still need them?
Oh, heavens. Yes, we need books. Go to your library. Please go to your libraries. Um, Public libraries are great because not only can you get books, it's like a one-stop shop. You can go to the maker spaces. I got my passport at the library. Please read, and not the little tweets. I've stopped most social media, and try to read like newspapers and online. I will read online magazines because I don't want all the print purchasing, but yeah, that's kind of.
Reading is cool, you all.
It is.
It'll
It
help
is
build
cool.
empathy, build knowledge, build real change. So thank you so much for being on. Really enjoyable talking with you. Wrote down those books, definitely. Love your tips. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Jill Miller.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Thank you.